Hello everyone, thank you so much for your support on Patreon. You really make this experience giveaway possible. Today we're gonna take a look on how to project a cracks onto the ground all inside Nuke. So here I am inside Nuke. There's my cracks and there's my script. So this is the cracks part and this is the background. So the projected background is really a big topic to cover, so I think I will leave it for another class, because the cracks is also a big topic to cover, and to make the script less heavy I will separate them and we will do another class about the background for another shot, because this background was rendered and copy-pasted in every script for every shot of this scene. This is really big topic to cover, you know? So to do this I will just save my script to something that I can call cracks version 1, like that. And now I will just delete everything. Ouch, ouch. Alright, I think I did it. Clean up, denoised, clean up, source, denoised, still too much unneeded channels. Alright, so here we have now only the cracks. I hope they are rendered well. Yeah, everything is alright. Now we can work much faster, because the script contains only the cracks. It's really an old script. Merges with masks, losing all the channels. The old way how I worked. Alright, so let's start from the start. I have a pre-comp background here already composited. These posters are also composited onto the walls there. And all I have to do is this cracks now. So let's go down the stream here and we have the merge nodes. It goes for the cracks also here. Let's see what the first merge node does. Alright, so the first merge node just puts this reprojected ground, which is actually a projection already. So if we look into the scanline render node, we can see it better. This is what I'm merging there with this merge node. I also have static papers mask roto, which selects that are lying on the ground, as they are easier to be selected in the plane projection. And let's see. Yeah, let's start breaking down the cracks here. So this is just a PNG sequence of 20 frames with animated with masks cracks, which I'm changing by first of all cutting out the parts that I don't need. I've drawn this mask already when I composited the crack on the ground, when I was seeing which parts I kinda don't need to appear in the frame. Then I'm eroding it a lot of times and differently with blurs and filters, eroding some parts that I need to be a little bit thinner. Yeah, because they were too contrasty in the frame. And then I'm creating an inner crack channel. This is kind of a channel with animated erosion, with growing inside part of the crack, which is colored a little bit differently, if you will. So if you look into the final render here, you can see that the color isn't constant. It's like yellow and reddish, and this is one of the ways I've made different areas for different color, by separating them to the separate channels, so and animating the erosion filters here. So that's where it plugs into the mainstream. It's called inner crack channel, because this is used for another color. Yeah, not sure why it's so weak, but this is the way it works. Shouldn't change it. So now I'm implementing the heat distortion right inside of the projection texture. These labels of the nodes aren't exactly correct. This is not the creation of the channel, this is the creation of the layer, because you know that in Nuke you have layers that contain channels, just to informate you about it. So then I'm distorting the cracks with this animated noise in the eye distortion. And then the huge chunk of work with not so much nodes comes into play. This is the frame holds, which separates each frame of the crack, and then I'm reanimating it with switches for each part of the crack differently, because this is the only way I could make this PNG sequence to work with the timing and be suitable for the edit. So the director wanted the specific movement of the crack in each part of the frame, so I made it, but with this image that I took. So if we look here, so we can see a lot more chaotic movement of it, because a lot of work is done here. All the switches are animated according to the timing, and they are all very different, done by hand. And to make them even more different, when I was copying them and doing them for another part of the crack, I just sometimes plucked out one of them or two of them. So I guess here there's no switch unplugged because they are all differently animated. This is the main crack here, the big one. But when I've copied this chunk of nodes here, then I did it. This is the small version of the crack. I've just scaled it down and merged it together here to make it a little bit more detailed in the center, because in the center there was not enough like cracking happening, and I've just copied it and pasted it, the small version of it, in the center. This solved this. So there is also a Chronos. This is an old version. I thought I would get this done with just Chronos, so I took the Chronos and made it a lot slower, because it was needed to make it a lot slower, and then I tried to use, you know, the old work with the new work, and so I'm also using the version of the Chronos here. Yeah, I'm putting it into the slowly growing crack channel, and after all I'm using it as well. Alright, that's how it looks like. So here I'm distorting it again, this time with the static noise, just to make it a little bit distorted, you know. Yeah, then I'm starting to grade it. So there I have some kind of noises here merged, screen blending mode. They are static. So this is the way I've masked things back then. This is kind of the old way I worked, and this is not correct. When you mask things, the best way, in my opinion, well, one of the easiest ways, is to use the stencil mode. And usually you'll want to invert your mask, and you'll get absolutely the same result as here. But you won't lose the channels that will come from the B pipe, because the B pipe is the main pipe in Nuke, and it contains all these layers here. But this way it doesn't matter if some channels are here, they are all lost, the layers, I mean the custom layers. Only RGB is preserved. But you can also merge all, and then they will be preserved as well, but they will be cut by the mask. But anyways, this is not the way you should mask things. I think you know this. I think if you are experienced user of Nuke, you know this. I'm just saying this to the ones who don't know this. Alright, so now I have some more kind of a masking here to make a different color. Yeah, the organization sucks here, really sucks. I'm sorry about that, guys. It's really an old script. Sorry about that. Alright, so and the other part is graded differently. In this time it is a lot desaturated, kinda, so I'm putting them together. One more saturated part with desaturated part, then I'm promoting it. Premultiplication, I just liked it here because it kind of erodes the edges better here. Yeah, and then I'm eroding it even more to create the other inner crack channel. Here I'm plussing it together with the main stream, which I'm also grading with just the red color. So this is just the gamma changed here. And then I'm putting them together, grading it again. just a little bit of artistic corrections that really makes script heavy, you know. Here I am making the cracked asphalt channel, the mask that I use for the bumping of the asphalt. So this is another story that is happening there. Pretty scary script I have here. And then I'm corner pinning it to match the perspective of the ground. It already looks kind of great. I already like it. Yeah, nice job, Kirill. I love what you do. Yeah. So I'm using expanded crack channel here. So this is like the area where the eroded mask for the glows and blurs and heat distortions. This is a mask that I use to move the asphalt in the places where I need it to be moved. This is kind of hard to understand, but here's how it works. So it has a lot of manual masks of the asphalt, just really a lot. This is why it looks so scary. A lot of work done here. And they are all differently transformed with the transform masks node. So if we look into a different merge nodes here, we can see that we have portions of the asphalt that are being transformed with the transform mask node, and here are kind of a merged part which is also being transformed. Yeah, this is how it works. So if we play it back, you can see the asphalt moving here. So let me cache it and I will show you. So yeah, that's how it looks like. You see that the ground is moving, and it is moving exactly the way the cracks are moving. So, and this is all constrained to the movement of the cracks with this mask, which is animated because the cracks are growing, and this blurred masks becomes bigger and influences. Alright, Nuke crashed, relaunching. And influences the opacity of the masks that are used for the transform mask nodes. When the opacity becomes 100%, the transform masked node starts to be visible, and it already has moved the crack. That's how it works. That's how it works. So all these masks are masked with this animated mask here. Yeah, I remember me when I was looking into this node, sometimes it crashed because it's too heavy. And this growing mask is controlling their opacity, and they are controlling the opacity of the moved and scaled portions of the asphalt. This is how it works, and the asphalt is taken from the real asphalt, of course, from the source footage. So here I have some masks on the paper that is obscuring the asphalt, and then I'm projecting it to the ground on the static frame, like that. Then I'm rotating some papers I don't need to be there. Then I'm corner pinning it to make it flat. This is not the best way to do this. You could just use the UV mode in the scanline render node, but it looks really heavily distorted here, so I guess with corner pin it looks better. Yeah, so this is how you could make it without the camera, because you don't need the camera for the UV projection mode. You just have the texture of your card, and if you don't want it to be rotated, this use a transformation here, whatever you want. So then I'm rotating it, and yeah, I'm distorting it. So what is this? White point and black point. What is this? Yeah, this is kind of a mask from the source footage, kind of a shadow specular's mask that I'm using to composite with the crack. Keyed asphalt reflection map, this is. That's what I called it. So then I'm transforming the asphalt with all these crazy transformations I've shown you, which are constrained to the blurred growing mask of the crack. Then I'm projecting it back onto the asphalt. I'm just using the same corner pin, copy it from this corner pin, but invert it to transform it back. So I could easily use an impulse filter here. This way it would be a little bit more sharp, you know, because you don't need the filtering here, and the impulse filter will work better here. Yeah, back then I was more enthusiastic than smart, And now I'm more smart than enthusiastic. That's how the life works. So then I have the defocus here. Yeah, the defocus, which is defocusing the cracks. Every layer, which I'm taking out of here, taking out these cracks and just plusing them into the main composite, sometimes with over mode, sometimes with plus mode. This is how it is done. This is how it is done. Yeah. Denoised, cleanup, multiplication. You see some maps here just to make it more integrated into the footage. So multiplying it with the footage. And then I'm using bump boss to make it submerged into the ground. More bumps and more bumps with some masks created especially for this. This is asphalt bump mask, so this is output and somewhere from all these crazy masks that I've done. I've used them for it. So let's see if I can find it. Asphalt bump mask. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. I'm taking all these masks, screening them together, and then I'm getting this kind of mask that I can use for the submerging of the crack. And that's how it is used here. That's why they are so greatly submerged there. Plussing again some glows here. Yeah, just glows created simply from the crack. Nothing special. And yeah, this is just some fire elements, some fire particles that I'm not sure from where they are. Maybe from Action Essentials, I guess. And I'm just putting them together here, layouting them onto the ground like that, sometimes modeling them according to the way camera sees them. They are all just differently positioned and with the right timing to come out of the crack when the crack is under them, because if you just put them there and just show them, they will not come out of the crack in the right time. They have to come out of it when the crack is already appeared on the ground. Some fire elements just to emphasize that paper is lighten up when it reaches the crack, makes it look a lot more heated. Yeah, the atmosphere. The atmosphere is just video compiled smoke here, gotten with masks, blurred, and put on top of everything. So yeah, and they are all put on together here, these special effects elements, and they are appearing in the right time. They are really slow, and if you turn on the motion blur, they will be even slower. Merging everything that causes heat to make an overall heat distortion map here, also with animated noise, and then I'm distorting everything here with this distortion. So what else didn't I talk about here? Alright, let's go see what kind of merge nodes after the bump we have here. So this is some glows I was talking about already. It's just simple glows. Yeah, then I have some color correction node to color correct these papers that are flying around according to the timing. So when the crack starts growing, the papers becoming more reddish. And then I'm merging them with transparent footage on top, make this color correction weaker a little. This is like the heat map that appears here on the last frames. I guess this is for the fire elements that are integrated here to light up this paper. Yeah, this is what it is. It's just color corrects the reflection there using this heat map to make it more reddish in the places where the fire is burning. To be honest, I can't even remember from where this channel comes from. If you will find it in my script, then please write a comment below from where it comes from and what was it for. So then I'm putting the atmosphere. When you're putting smoke somewhere, it is always needed to blur things under the smoke. This way the smoke works a lot better. Just try doing this. So when you are compositing the smoke, always blur everything under the smoke, and this will help you to composite the smoke. So here's the atmosphere. Here I'm screening it on top. Let's see the difference with the blur and without the blur. So here we go. This is with the blur, And let me turn off the blur now. So you see this enhances a lot this atmosphere. It really gives it more life. And I'm used to use size of 100 for blur Gaussian filter under the smoke. So you take the matte of the smoke and you use it to blur footage under the smoke before you add the smoke on top. This is a great tip for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll leave all my project files on Patreon as always. Excuse me for a little delays. I sometimes just have not enough time to make classes, but I promise that this is like what I want to do, you know, guys. And this will be possible thanks to you, my subscribers and Patreons. So share these breakdowns with your friends. Go get my project files from Patreon. All the project files for all the videos I've done and I will do are on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kirill Pleshakov. Have a nice day. Goodbye.